Welcome back, everyone. It is now getting closer and closer to the release date of Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, on June 30th. We have had a lot of people like Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Kathleen Kennedy, James Mangold, and more talking more about this movie that's been really gaining a lot of fans to lead to becoming very skeptical about what's going to be the turnout for this movie, and especially exactly how it goes against everything that George Lucas created. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we do know that The Dial of Destiny is going to be quite different in comparison to the previous 3 films. We know that Phoebe Waller-Bridge confirmed this to us directly, that she believes that this movie is not only better than the first 3 movies, but she believes it's far different and stands as its own. And that's because it focuses on Helena a lot as the new star of the actual movie, which is not what a lot of fans want to actually hear, let's be honest about that. But one thing that Harrison Ford had to talk about was a lot of things to do with Kathleen Kennedy's approach to the Indiana Jones universe, or the Indieverse, whatever you want to call it, and how there is a sequel that's currently in the planning stages that connects to what Kathleen Kennedy talked about a couple of days ago, and Harrison Ford warns the fans about exactly what's going on with the Indy 5 sequel, and what it would even entail once it goes further into development, because right now they're just in the brainstorming phase. They're kind of gathering the ideas. In development can mean anything ranging from talking about it to brainstorming or jotting down notes, etc. So anyways, on top of all of this, with Harrison Ford lately promoting Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny, at the world premiere, he was recently questioned about an Indy 5 sequel, where he was able to talk more about that and give a heads up to the fans. Harrison Ford delivered the following to everyone. Well, yeah, that's something that's in the talks right now between Kathy and Mangold, and they are trying to really figure out where to bring that down the road. But I'm down, and I'm done with my time here as Indy. It's over, and I don't know, I guess the direction now is a spin-off of some kind. They were discussing that on and off, and how to perhaps advance Helena's story, also where that could perhaps go in a series most likely, or something most likely to continue the story. But I'm done. I'm too old for this now. Lucasfilm wants to continue this story, and all I can do is hope they find the right story that best suits the big thing that George gave me the opportunity to become a part of back in '81. Now, of course, he's referring to Raiders of the Lost Ark that released back in 1981. Great film, a hit, a big classic that everyone grew up with. And the thing about Harrison is that he doesn't really sound enthusiastic, let's be clear, about an Indy 5 sequel, let alone myself. I gotta say, an Indy 5 sequel should not even be in the talks right now. I don't know why they're even talking about it. I don't even know why Kathleen Kennedy even brought it up, or even James Mangold even in discussions about this, but the least you could do is maybe, and only maybe, talk about a sequel after the film arrives in theaters. Why the rush? This reminds me once again of the overconfidence of Lucasfilm, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, just like what she did with Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, by giving him a new trilogy well before the movie even arrived in theaters, let alone the full box office results came back in. So this just goes to show you that Kathleen Kennedy is doubling down again, never lives and learns, and just is very stubborn, doesn't listen to people, and it's a prime example here, once more, that Kathleen Kennedy is very persistent. She's very much, resilient to a lot of fans speaking up about their opinions on things. So let's get to the next thing here. He goes on to elaborate further. I have to give it to George for really kickstarting my career, and I owe him everything in the world. So whatever they do next has to respect Indy's legacy. Do I think we should continue with an Indy sequel? No. It should be done. But that's their vision and their decision. If they want to continue it, I'm just an actor with lots of mileage. So who am I to say in this day and age, with all these superhero movies, that's also given me another avenue to approach. By the way, guys, he's talking about his role as Red Hulk in the upcoming movie from Marvel. Moving on. He states, "I think the better idea would have been to have somebody else take up the role to play a younger version of me, or just use that de-aging thing that really worked for this one. Maybe a prequel would be better. I don't know. But a continuation, as far as I can tell, is not needed. If they find something that respects George's creation, then so be it. I'm all open to endorse that. But they are still finding out exactly what to do, and if anything, it will probably be years away anyways before anything goes on the silver screen or on a streaming service like Disney Plus or something like that." Now again, Ford is and has been like this for a very long time. He talks very stumbled, very monotone, and he says a lot of ums in between sentences. Never seems enthusiastic, and that could be a mixture of the things that we've pointed out. Let's just say Harrison Ford has his own recreational uses, and that usually spills way into interviews. I'll leave it at that. But what's interesting about this is he is acknowledging an Indy 5 sequel, and he's also acknowledging that Kathleen Kennedy and Mangold are trying endlessly to find an avenue or a way to continue the story without Indiana Jones and without himself. And that is very worrisome, that they're doubling down on this thing. Now guys, if you want my real, honest opinion, I don't see an Indy 5 sequel. It's not realistic. It's not gonna happen. Look at what happened with the Willow series. They canceled it almost immediately after fans spoke up and refused to take their part in watching that season, and season 2 was canceled like the snap of a finger because of that driven agenda that was forced into it, and it really tarnished the brand. Now, given that that type of agenda is not going to be as severe in Indy 5, let's be honest about this. It's not going to be like Willow to that extent, but I think it's going to be enough to drive the box office numbers down to the ground. That's going to prevent an Indy 5 sequel. There's no doubt about it. So I don't really see why Kathleen Kennedy and Mangold and all the others are discussing a continuation of this. And by the way, even Spielberg is up for that. He actually endorses a sequel, and that just goes to show you that, you know, he does support the gender swapping. We talked about this, that Spielberg says, oh, it would be a fantastic idea to perhaps pursue Indiana Jones as a female, you know, making her Indiana Joan. He's said that many, many times. Go ahead and look it up, and it just goes to show you why Spielberg was so enthusiastic on the stage last night at the Hollywood premiere for Indy 5, and then you have George Lucas on his side, looking so sad, looking so stationary, and just not smiling, not laughing or anything. George really looked like he did not want to be there, and he didn't, by the way. We covered this about a video or two back. Go ahead and check it out. He was basically forced by Disney to go on the big stage to kind of give the Indy 5 promotional work a better image. So once again, you know, this is another example that they never learn. Kathleen Kennedy is very stubborn, whether she's fully aware of the fans not liking what she creates or not. I'm pretty sure she does. I don't think it's her playing dumb or anything like that. She knows what we're talking about, and they just don't want to give in. I gotta give it up to Universal. I will be honest, they've done a fantastic job so far with the Super Mario Brothers film. I gotta give it to Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible and Maverick. So guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.